Alrighty, so with Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, I just dropped the Red Itadori video to show you, to kind of give my thoughts on that character in terms of on whether or not she's summoned. Momo has actually been announced. A post for Momo and the new Recollection card has been announced. Itadori hasn't, even though they've already specified within the weekly drop that Momo and Itadori will be dropping at the same time during December 3rd, so maybe a tweet later for Itadori, who knows. But Momo is in question, so let's kind of look into her, talk about her. I mean, I've already stated everything that I needed to state. So if you guys don't know, Momo is practically one of the best buffers that the game has to offer. So for her to drop already on Global is insane. Because I think on the JP timeline it was like way after. Like we had Red Itadori, we had Green Gojo, there was a few other bands, and then we had Momo come in. So the fact that Momo's coming in right now, it is insane. But here we are. Even though people are complaining and whatnot, I need to make a whole separate video on that because I need to give my honest opinions about what's going on because people aren't happy. It's kind of insane with this approach that they have taken and that they're sticking with their gun. It's insane. But anyway, let's focus on more about Momo on whether or not if she should summon. Now here's the thing, Momo, as I've just mentioned, she's a fantastic buffer. Is she worth the pull? Absolutely. Like, I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, even though she's one of the best support characters, you should not, like, no, like realistically, even I want to summon for her. But with the approach that they have taken with Global, we have to rethink, unfortunately. You know, we have to utilize that this character will be in the general pool and unfortunately go about that way in order to maximize the amount of, you know, summons that we can save for the limited characters. Because unfortunately, even though the Global stated that, hey, we're going to give you more summons to compensate with the rush of Global, yeah, you're not doing that. Okay, I need to stop because I'm actually getting pissed. Anyway, blue buffer, so giving you guys a little rundown. Characteristic: if own HP is 60% or below, grants evasion status up to 1 time during battle, so keeping that same theme from the SR, giving the evasion. First skill, 100% Jujutsu damage, increases the selected enemy's damage received by 15.4%. This is on for 2 turns, 3 times, fantastic. Skill 2, increases all allies damage by 41.7%. You can really maximize that by 68% if you want to level that bad boy up. And then of course the break damage increase to all allies will stay at 20%. So again, extremely good. Skill 3, increases all allies critical hit rate, critical hit damage, and then decreases all enemies critical hit resistance. So the critical hit rate and damage can go up to 45 to 30%. Starts at 30 to 20%. And then when you're reducing the enemy's crit resistance, it stays at 30% across the board. That one is super freaking good, I'm not gonna lie. That skill 3 is a whole ass setup if you ask me. And then the ultimate, it's AoE 420, you can cap it at 798. And then with this one, you can not only, you know, get some good amount of chip damage out from it, you can reduce the enemy's ultimate skill gauge count by 1, and on top of that, you can stun the enemy. It starts at 50-50, but thankfully as you level it up, you can gradually get the percentage up. So obviously level 7 is kind of where I like to, for me, level 7 is kind of like the sweet spot where I like to keep things if I want to invest into a character at the very least. So 77% on that one, of course. So yeah, I mean, even at level 5, 68%. So yeah, so the ultimate is extremely good too. In terms of the combination, you give yourself a 20% Jujutsu damage up, and then you do an AoE Jujutsu damage of 100%. Alright, so that's kind of how this Momo is working. And as I've already mentioned, and as we're going through the kit, you guys can see already that she is just going to be one hell of a buffer slash support character, of course. And again, this is one of the big reasons why I said you don't need to summon for Ghetto, because there are other characters that are going to be releasing that are just going to completely override him. I was not expecting for them to drop a character that completely overrides him days after. That is insane. It's ridiculous. But yeah, unfortunately Ghetto has been relegated. Momo has taken his spot in my personal opinion. Okay, and then we got the Recollection card. This is a fairly mid Recollection card. I wouldn't go too insane over this, to be fair. So Taijutsu 22, Jujutsu 22 across the board, HP at 32%. So this is just, I mean, for utility, this is fairly mid, I'd say. So when you're using your command skill, ultimate skill, you recover 10 cursed energy and 30% of your HP. And then if you get it to LB3, 15 cursed energy comes back to you, as well as 35% on of your own HP. And then if you limit break it once at the start of the battle, increase own Jujutsu damage by 15%. So honestly, anyone that has in need of cursed energy, I mean, that's when you'll kind of utilize this. But outside of that, this is just a fairly overall mid-type memory card, which, yeah, I mean, you don't need to really concern yourself with this one, if I'm being completely honest, boys. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Alright, so if you do manage to pull Momo, here are just some of the few memory cards that you can just kind of throw in if you want to. I mean, this is probably just kind of like the universal one, which a lot of us can utilize, of course, but yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate chaser for the whole squad, of course. Again, it worked quite nicely in order to fill up Momo's ultimate skill gauge, because obviously with all the buffing that she's going to be doing, it's nice to have her side at the ready in terms of that AoE stun ultimate, of course, and reducing the enemy's ultimate if need be. So having her ultimate skill gauge being affected is not a bad thing. So you can also resort to using this as a free-to-play one. You've got, this is a pay-to-win one, but if you manage to pull it, it's not too bad in terms of HP recovery, of filling up the ultimate skill gauge, but more importantly, if you get it to LB1, your whole team can get a benefit of a damage dealt of increase of 25%. So if you want to dupe that one out, I would actually recommend it, because that's one of the better ones. Giving you guys some SR choices, so you can give yourself a Jujutsu damage increase, which isn't too bad, you know, get some chip damage off, but it's where the LB1 comes into play, because you can increase all allies Jujutsu damage by 10%, and then if you have more characters from Kyoto Jujutsu High, then of course the damage of the Jujutsu damage will increase. Another SR one that you guys can utilize, so again giving you that increase on Jujutsu damage, but LB1 is where you want it to keep it at, decreases all enemies at damage dealt by 20%. So yeah, just a few that you can choose to use from in terms of capitalizing on your Momo if you do manage to pull. So if you wanted my honest opinion, like I said, Momo is definitely worth the pull with how great of a character she is, especially the fact that she's dropping now for global. Again, it's in a way kind of ridiculous on what they're doing on releasing her now, but at the same time, you know, to those that managed to get her, congratulations. You know, she's definitely worth the pull. Again, if you don't have Ghetto, if you chose to skip on that character, then this is a perfect example on why. Momo is in the building so freaking soon, of course. So she's definitely worth the pull. So if you're paid to win, this is definitely a character which I would actually go for. Obviously, if you're free to play, hearing about like she is worth, it's just like, damn, do I go for her? That's the tricky situation that we're in right now, because like I said, I want to go for her. But at the same time, knowing on things are coming a lot sooner, we have to prepare for the limited characters. We have to maximize the fact that these characters will be in the general pool a lot sooner than later, and go about gaining characters that way, because as of right now, we don't know for sure on what the developers have in store in order to compensate the speed that it's going. That the speed that global is going out, we don't know how they're going to compensate on what we can get, what we can grind for. Now again, when the character releases, we will get a free multi. That's what typically what happens. So we can hope and pray that we can get it through that way. But I genuinely think the best route would be, because I mean, as of right now, if we're really thinking about it, support-wise, we're okay, right? We're not really head over heels on needing her Momo that badly. Not to say that I wouldn't mind having her, because I mean, her and Yaga together, hey, it's a GG. But still, yeah. Oh, by the way, team setup wise for Momo, pair up with Yaga and you're fine. She's basically a universal support character for everyone to anyone. Just putting it out there. I mean, it's kind of a given. Like, yeah, no, we know, but I'm just letting you guys know. In terms of team setup, you can throw Momo in with anyone to everyone. She's a universal support character. So for me personally, I would use her and Yaga together, and if I wanted to throw in that third support, I can do that. Main DPS, they're going to be cooking. They are going to be cooking. So that's kind of like the situation that we're in right now. She's definitely is worth the pull for the pay-to-win players, but for the free-to-play players, it's a tough call to make, because how bad the summoning is. If you get shafted, then you are cooked for Gojo, you are cooked for the half anniversary characters that are probably going to be releasing in a couple of months time and going forward. So I hand on heart would suggest whatever we get for the free multi, hopefully we get 2 free multis at the very least, utilize those. If you don't pull her, that's fine, we're still good on support, we don't need to rush it, and we'll get her through the overall pool at a later time. So save your regular tickets.